How's it, my fellow collectors of all things collectible? Doesn't matter what your hobby is, you're always welcome here at Figure This, Figure That, the Don's Figure Chat. Today we're doing the ThreeZero Rambo from Rambo 3. He hasn't had the 4K treatment, so we thought we'd give him a chance in the studio to strut his stuff. So you can see him there in all of his glory, fully dressed and kitted out, ready for Afghanistan, off on a mission to save Colonel Troutman, who's got himself caught by the Russians. So I'll just give you a quick up and down of him. There's the head sculpt, which is quite good, I think. You know, it does look like him. It's quite good. The body's impressive. He gets the quiver with arrows. He gets the tote bag, which he carries the C4 plastic explosive in. I don't know if you can see it, but he's got a watch on that arm there. He comes with a compound bow. You go down, he's got the boot knife. He's got his Rambo massive scimitar blade down the side there. You'll see that once the jacket comes off. The stand I've got him on is from Stony Stands, Seth Stoneberger. It's not the stand. The figure doesn't come with a stand, if I think. No, it doesn't. So I got this one. It's the same picture that is on the box. There you have it. The box is quite nice. God would have mercy, John won't. He takes on the whole Russian army, eh? I love ThreeZero's logo in the bottom right-hand corner there. I think that's quite dope. Okay, so most of the gear he comes with, he's got on. He comes with various hands. There's the extreme right is drawing back the string and holding the arrow hand. He's got trigger fingers, fists. He comes with 2 wrist pegs, some buttons to go onto the quiver. He gets this AK with the folding buttstock that doesn't fold all the way, so I don't know why they included that. And it's got a grenade launcher mounted on the bottom. And there's a whole story behind that, but I'm not going to go into it. It's to do with shooting in Israel, where they had access to the proper AKs. And then, where did they go shoot after that? I can't remember now. Shit. But they didn't have access to the real AK-47s. Don't ask me why. So they modded that one. They modded the rail to fit that grenade launcher on the bottom. Pull-out magazine. Here's an example of some of the arrows that comes with. So you've got the hunting head, which is the all black one. And then you get, I think this is the explosive head. He comes with various different heads on the arrows. There's the instruction manual. See the change of voice? I don't know why I do that. I'm a pelican. Comes with an RPG, which, believe you me, I've shot one of these. You see them in the movies. They shoot these things like they can hit a bullseye from 100 yards. These things are extremely hard to fire, eh? To get on target. Such a mission, eh? But yeah, there's his RPG. And yeah, all in all, a very impressive figure from ThreeZero. I really dig this figure. The body's good. All accessories are good. The head sculpt is accurate. It looks like John Rambo. And I mean, that's all you can ask for. He also comes with 2 neck pegs. His other neck peg is still in the bag. You put the long neck peg for when he wears the jacket, and you put the short neck peg when he doesn't. But I just use the same neck peg for both, and it doesn't really make a difference to me anyway. Yeah, as I was saying, in that tote bag is a block of C4 explosive. He's got his Rambo knife sheathed on the side there. He's got a black vest on underneath this. A lot of us don't pose it with the vest on and the jacket on because of staining. We don't know yet if they're going to stain the body. And yeah, it's blind, but we wait and see if someone who has posed him with everything on comes in the groups and starts bitching about the thing staining, and then that's when we know, okay, don't do it. I don't know, it seems to be losing its focus somehow. I don't know why. We've been battling camera wise as of late. First it was the app, but that seems okay. It's only when I come out of the light. Oh well, you're not interested in that, are you? He also comes with a jade necklace that he was given from the chick that is his scout. That meets him, but that was in Vietnam. But he still wears it. Yeah, as I was saying, all in all, the scars are in the right places. Where he was cut with a knife, the scars on the back, where he was also cut with a knife and whipped. So they've done a really, really good job. I'm super impressed with him. And I can't wait to see the next Rambo that comes out from them. We've got it pre-ordered. It's the first one from the first initial Rambo movie. I think the boots, they would have been better off in 2 pieces, but they're short boots, so I don't know how that would look, but you don't get much articulation at the ankles, and very hard to stand him without a stand. The hands are good, they come off easy, go on easy. The weathering is done really well on the bush jacket and on the cargo pants. There you can see the weathering. Very realistically done. You know, so he didn't come with like a super clean outfit that just looks like he stepped out the laundry. And everything's pretty accurate. Everything's pretty accurate to the movie. Yeah, I like him. Time will tell if the pleather on the quiver is going to deteriorate. I've just noticed there is a button missing. The very first one there. Can you see it? But I won't glue another one in. It doesn't bother me. There's only me that knows it, and I'm not selling him, so I shouldn't, you know, I'm not really bothered about it. Let's do a bit of an upward boom shot. It's funny now how we're talking about Rambo taking on the Russian army in Afghanistan when the Russians at the moment are attacking the Ukraine. Yeah, it's on the TV in the background. That's scary, eh? It's scary that something could kick off from that could ruin the world, you know? So me and Moata are keeping a close watch to see what happens in the coming days and weeks. But they've already launched some strikes. Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking, eh? And he's got his finger on the big red button. That's even scarier. I've added this wooden, well, I suppose you can call it a diorama. I'll be using it through the shoot, and I've also got a Steve Weber diorama that he made for my platoon figures. I use that for this guy as well. In fact, I've used it for quite a few figures, but it's such a dope piece and looks really, really well with any figure I put on it. I never seem to be able to look him in the eyes. Have we got him there? Okay, finally, there we go. That's quite a mean look, eh? Okay, John, I'll get out your face and I'll go over the accessories again quickly. There's extra arrows in the quiver because I had a kit bashed Rambo where you buy the outfit, the compound bow, the quiver, arrows. I can't remember if the RPG was with the kit. No, I bought that separate. You get the head sculpt and then you source a body for it and hands and all that type of stuff. So I took my arrows and I've added them there to that quiver, and the bow is actually the bow from that kit, just in case anything happens to the bow. I've got his 301 still in the box. Why take a chance when you don't have to? There's his boot knife. There's one in each boot, but he only comes with one. I had an extra one from the kit. Comes with various hands for holding the arrow and drawing back the strings. Pair of fists, trigger hands, and bow holding hand. He comes with 2 wrist pegs, but I've got a wrist peg. I keep it in that the arrow holding hand all the time, because that's the one I use. Well, you have to use that one if you're going to use the bow. Comes with some extra buttons for the quiver. Comes with an AK-47. And he uses a variety of weapons throughout Rambo 3. There's no real weapon of choice that he carries with him besides the compound bow and his blade. But still, nice addition. Here's an example of some of the arrows. If you see that silver one there, and then the hunting arrow with the hunting blade. If you come up here, you can see there's the brass colored ones and the silver ones and the hunting arrows. So they must be armed with different tips, obviously. Maybe high explosive, and the other one I'm not too sure. Maybe a smaller explosion. Maybe one for buildings and such, doorways, and one for the human body. I wouldn't like to be shot with one of those exploding arrows. I don't think you come back very much from that. His blade he's got on his side, sheathed. Comes with an RPG and rocket itself. It's quite a nice piece, actually. Quite a nice piece. They've added some lovely detail and weathering on it. Let's see if I can get over here and talk about the instruction manual. Without changing my voice, but I failed on the way there. There's the art box. And I forgot, well, I'll mention it again. I didn't forget that he comes with 2 neck pegs, a longer one and a short one. But there's no need to interchange them all the time if you're going from bush jacket to naked chest. The short one works for both looks, and so does the long one. So I just use the one that's in there. I think it's a short one. So there's the box with their dope logo. And then we'll come out so you can have a look. Rambo all booted and suited. There the man is. I think it's time to move on and get some lacquer action poses going, and then into the spinners. Excuse me. So as usual, I'll leave you looking into the eyes, if I can find them again, of John Rambo from Rambo 3. I'll see you on the flip. So here we have a jumping off pose, which was quite easy to achieve, and I'm only using the one crotch grabber. So he's got his arms splayed out to give him balance. He's coming in to land here in the Afghanistan jungle. Sorry, he just looks dope with this diorama, so I'm using it. And there you have him, absolutely no articulation in the ankles, but that's okay. You don't need the ankle so much in this one. There you see the famous Rambo knife. I used it to hold the jacket back as if the wind is blowing it. There you see the vest underneath, which is, yeah, no biggie, I suppose. And yeah, he's basically dressed the same as when I started the video. But from here, he'll be in various stages of undress, because most Rambo movies, especially the later ones, as soon as he could get his shirt off, it was off. Because I must admit, I mean, he was built really, really nice, You know, there's a story back when he trained for Rocky, when Apollo Creed was training him. He trained and cut so much that he had muscle upon muscle, and they were constricting the blood flow in the arteries. So he was advised to stop, like cease and desist immediately, because it was slowly killing him. But he did look, yeah, he looked awesome in that when Apollo Creed trained him. And he looked good in this Rambo 3, I must admit. The waist, well, not so much the waist, but the whole upper body this is in two halves. You get the lower part, so let's say the pelvis and the legs, and then the upper body is, it's on a swivel joint. So it can look unsightly at times if you don't get it right when he's got his shirt and that off. So you just got to be careful for that. And there's another one to be careful of, which is trapping the chest muscle, because it's only made of soft rubber underneath the arm's boil joint, right at the top of the shoulder. I'll point it out once we've got him bare-chested. Because when I first got him and I posed him, that's what happened. I'd caught it in between the ball joint and the arm, and it was all tucked in, and it left a horrible crease. But since it came out. But yeah, you got to be careful of that. I'm sure you let that happen too many times, and it's going to cause some damage. I mean, it's, as I say, it's only soft rubber. So that's his first action pose. Might look good as a spinner, this as well, so don't be shocked if you do see it as a spinner, but I think I'll put more of an extreme jump in place. Let's see him from below. That's the view you would have if you was jumping from the trees into your camp. It's the last thing you'd see is John J. Rambo. I've got the Last Blood Rambo figure as well, so we'll pose these two bad boys together, the young and the old, and see how they perform. Sorry, a lot of these shots are outside the studio because he's in such a high pose. And big shout out to Cranky Collector, Damien, and his sidekick Clara for telling me about the photo function while you're videoing. So I've just taken a couple of shots there, which I find really dope. I'm glad he showed it to me. But yeah, big shout out to Cranky Collector. Go see his YouTube channel. He collects statues and 1/6 figures. Mostly a statue man, because he's got the space. And yeah, he's got some really nice statues, He's just got Red Sonja. But enough about that. Enough about that. Let's talk about Rambo. Rambo. Hell of no fury like a Rambo. And there's the IC Customs diorama down below. Really nice, I say. That's a real piece of deadwood. Obviously all the plants are artificial. That was a water puddle down there, but it's sadly dried up. The resin is, yeah, it's gone weird, but it still looks good. And that's what John is jumping into. I wish I had the space to pose figures like this. I mean, that's not an excessive pose. You're not putting any strain on any of the joints. The bow is not heavy, so, I mean, you could quite easily leave this like this in your display if you had the space, you know. There you can see he's got a tie down on his blade. It ties off around his leg. Handy when you're carrying such a big blade. But I always expected John to carry a forged blade and not a stock removal blade or a factory made blade. Stock removal is when they get just a bar of metal and they shape the knife out of it, where forging, they make the metal and shape the knife. Both are great methods. You can get more artistic with a stock removal method than you can with a forged blade. Like a katana from Japan, that's a forged blade. Okay, so no further ado. I've talked a lot of drivel. I've zoomed around Rambo in various poses there, or various camera shots, because I'm the boom man. And I'll leave you looking for once at the whole figure instead of looking to my eyes. And there we have him. I'll move in slowly in an upward boom shot. Okay, boys and girls, my fellow collectors, that's me back. And we have him in his first bow shooting pose. So he's got the hunting head arrow, as you can see there. I don't think it's, there you go. With his bow, he's got his string pulling hand, or the fleck hand. His jacket's off. He was just getting settled, waiting for his contact, when he's either heard a noise or seen something that he wants to eat. And he's about to let loose. Look at that, man. Doesn't it look dope? Besides being a dope figure, a diorama helps so much in setting the figure off. There's his watch. There's the blade. You'll see more of that as we progress. There's the bow in full action. And there's Rambo in the IC Customs diorama. Doesn't that look magnificent, man? Sorry, it's not a very dope angle for you to get it all in. But there we go. Really, really nice, eh? You can imagine him set up in a landscape glass case, maybe in your coffee table or mounted on the wall. And how dope wouldn't that look, eh? Magnificent. ThreeZero, yeah, they've done such a stellar job on this figure. And you'll see once the vest comes off how the muscles work. And okay, it's not as good as a Fission, which is a stainless steel armature skeleton body, but this one holds its own, eh? Now you can see there, you see where the ball joint goes into the chest. It's just over there. That piece there of flesh gets trapped behind the shoulder joint, so you've got to be careful for that, because I think if it stayed there long enough in that crease, it would eventually split. Very easy to set up this pose, but then when I was posing this guy and Last Blood Rambo in some spinners, I learned the best way of how to thread the bow. So you put the fleck hand on, this hand, you pull the strings until they're behind the fingers, and then you slide the arrow into the fingers and then onto the hand holding the bow. And that seems to work the best to get a very decent bow pose. But I've been hitting just above the eye with one of these arrows. That's why I've got him facing the other direction. We're not doing look into my eyes, look into my eyes. Oh, let's take a chance. There you go. If we come around this side, there he is. And just about to plant a hunting arrow in your snack. And yeah, stop your complaining for good. Now this is the same figure that's been sold on Stallone in the Stallone shop. He's just released, Sly. He's just released First Blood Rambo. It's up for pre-order now. But for me, I don't know, there's something off with the head sculpt. It doesn't look right. I don't know what it is. Just doesn't look right. This is a dope figure, eh? Every pose you put him in, he looks natural, you know, as if he's meant to be in that pose. So the figure does a lot of the talking for you in this instance. You don't have to battle, you know, to get a line, to get a body line. He just seems to sit so naturally. Again, no crotch grabber. Standing on quite rough terrain with those boots with no ankle articulation, so that's quite good, eh? You know, would he stand like that on a flat surface? Ooh, I don't know. I'd have to test that. But for now, have your last gaze on John Rambo firing his bow as we go off to prepare the next pose, and then onwards and upwards to the spinners. Okay, that's me back, and we've got John J on the flip in a knife fighting pose, bare-chested. There you can see the magnificent blade. Imagine seeing this step out the darkened forest towards you. You'd run a mile. There you can see the scars on his chest from when he was cut and tortured in Vietnam. There you see the body in all of its glory with the seamless arms. I gotta admit, the elbows are not that great. They don't bend nicely, and the fleshy parts look a bit bunched up when they are bent. But yeah, I mean, this is a nice pose. I'm not too worried about the elbows and that. That'll come into play when maybe he uses the AK, because then it's going to be difficult to get a line without the bend in the elbow. And that's him in all his glory in the IC Customs diorama. And he looks dope, eh? Dope, 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 dope. He's in the classic knife fighting stance. Blade held forward, bent at the knees, shoulders square. He's ready for action. He's ready to cut some liver and feast on your innards. Wow, that sounds quite violent, eh? But nice body, eh? And they made this body especially for this figure. That's why most of us knew that there'd be more coming, and yeah, they've announced the first blood figure. It's the same as Alita, the battle angel. They made a body specifically for her, which is not cheap to create a whole new body, but it just gives you the idea that they knew there was more coming. And Battle Angel 2 has just been called out, the movie. So there'll be a figure on that, which there is. You can see the photos, the prototype, if you look it up. So yeah, even with the vest off, still looks really dope. He looks dope with everything on, the bush jacket. So if you're on the fence about this figure, I wouldn't be. I'd get one, because you can only add to your collection. He's really that good. The price point is right. It's $3.0. So yeah, I'd say if you're on the fence, go out and get one. You won't be sorry. He's already shot up in price. I don't remember if this was the knife that he had in Rambo 3. I should have actually checked, because that's quite a bit of steel he's packing there. Razor sharp, razor sharp. So I'm using the hand for pulling back the string of the arrow and holding the fleck to hold the blade, because the blade holding hand that he comes with, it doesn't really hold the blade nicely, where the fleck hand holds it great. But if you had to turn around and see the inside of the grip, that doesn't look as nice. You can use the watch there to cover the wrist joint. It's actually moved up since I moved it down, but that usually covers the wrist joint quite nicely. A bend in that one also covers the wrist joint nicely. Just gonna turn the wrist peg until the bend is in the right direction. So yeah, there we have him. Knife fighter galore. the man who influenced the 80s and many a child and many an adult. Rambo. Even the name sounds ominous. Rambo. I wonder where they came up with the name. I mean, I know it was in the book, First Blood by David Morrell, but it's just Rambo, maybe because it's become so synonymous with an action hero, you know, that you just think, well, Rambo must mean that. Because even when I was in the Marines, if you started talking like you're the main deal, you know, soldier of fortune, fucking Rambo. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear there. That just slipped out. Slipped out. No self-control. There's the Steven Spielberg upwards boom shot into the swoop. Oh, I can amuse myself for hours, I can. So what do you all think? The main gripe in the groups is the hair that stands away from the head. They think maybe, well, I also think maybe a head sculpt would have been nice, or a closer fitting plastic hair on the sides especially. But they must have their reasons for doing it the way they did it. I don't know if it's money-wise or practicality-wise. But yeah, look at him, eh? And that's the cut and defined body that he had with Apollo Creed in that boxing movie, in the Rocky movie. I think it was Rocky II. Got the eye of the tiger. Doom, 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 doom. You can see I'm starting to enjoy myself. Okay, well, there we go. 7 minutes of me speaking drivel while you look at a dope piece. That can't be half bad, surely. You can always mute my voice. And again, instead of the eyes, I'll leave you with an overall view of John in his dio, well, shared dio, as we move closer in for a little boom experiment shot. And